Hello, beautiful people. So, how much squeezing yourself into a box have you done? How much shape, bending yourself out of shape have you done in your life? And when is it enough? So, I'm a recovering conformist and a people pleaser and perfectionist. I went through the majority of my life, as probably some of you know, having strong pains and ended up 5 years ago having full body chronic pain, fibromyalgia diagnoses. And as going on from yesterday, we're talking about authenticity, living authentically to your true to yourself, and how and the devastating effect that it can have on your life. So, like I said, I'm recovering because I think it's a process, and I think it's because learning how to be authentic is there's a scale, right? Authenticity, being true to self, to your own values, to listening to your own inner wisdom, guidance, intuition is something that we're not taught at school. It's a sliding scale so that it's not either or, and a continuum. So we can see that this is a process, and it takes courage. It takes a lot of resilience and going against the grain, as I have found, over the course of my career, leaving research and development because it was no longer resonating with me, and disagreeing, or let's say being out of alignment with the majority of the people during the last 3 years, especially my peers in science and medicine, was isolating, stressful, and yet I had to remain true to myself and true to my integrity. So I haven't always been like this, and it is, like I said, is a process. I used to be a people's pleaser, a performer, and a conformist. I was very different. I used to be, I was always different, basically different in the sense that I was brought up in, various different places and all constantly moving around and didn't have any base. And I was kind of like the weirdo. And so I did my best to fit in. I tried to fit in as long as I can remember, in fact, when I was a child. And I was also too sensitive, too sensitive and too much at the same time. So I was a bit like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. I was over exuberant, over flamboyant, knocking over all the, cups and teapots. And so what I had to do was I pushed them in, pushed them down, like I was saying yesterday, right? I was different so I tried to blend in. I was too emotional, and these emotions being good and bad, too excited or too angry and sad were my were the box that I was trying to find. And I call this phenomenon, or condition, the Goldilocks syndrome, because this being just right, wanting to be just right, is I think that most of us find that we find ourselves in, right? So thanks to the chronic pain and the chronic symptoms that I had, the 18 symptoms that I had, it was literally my body screaming to say no. And I realized this conforming behavior had to go. My body, to start to express myself uniquely, and realize that I am a unique expression of the universe, a source energy. And the age of 40, this my body had just literally said no. And the chronic pain and the inability to function was literally crippling me. So because I obviously clearly wasn't able to say no, right, to others, I was saying only yes, and not it was giving me clear signals all through my life. It started with this whisper, as I said yesterday. I had small episodes of pain, and it was actually in the area that I had fallen off the horse, so it was in my neck and then in my cervical and also my lower back. And then the symptoms started to pile up, and it became a cry and finally a scream with whole body pain. So living out of alignment with my true self, my integrity and my authentic self was costing me my holistic health and happiness. And the pressure to conform, not to be too hot or not to be too cold, as you know in the Goldilocks story, was so much pressure and so much stress. And I'm going to be going into this tomorrow in my my training, the training that I'm going to be doing on how to develop your authentic self in a very gentle way, to release and heal from chronic pain and syndromes, because it's very, very interconnected. Chronic stress, as I've been showing over these videos, creates chronic dis-ease in the body, chronic fight, flight, freeze response, because just imagine now the tiger is no longer outside, but it's the internal critic, it's the internal person that that I have to conform and be like the Joneses, right? Is now the tiger is living inside you. And so that as my daughter, these are my daughter's paintings, as my daughter did a tiger roaring yesterday in art class. So literally the roar becomes so loud, and you're living with the tiger in your own body. So at what cost are we not being authentic to ourselves? So for me, it costs me my health and my well-being. It costs me my relationships with my partner and my child to not be my authentic self. It cost me my own needs, the needs that I wasn't expressing, my values and my integrity. So my self-expression, my emotional self, all my emotions were pushed in and down. And it also cost me my dreams and my desires, until, of course, I realized I was doing it. And then I only spent that time to figure out what dreams and my desires were, because I didn't know until I was 40 years old really what I wanted to do. And at this, ultimately, it costs you your self-value, your self-love, and your whole, the ultimate human potential, your potential and your ability to create. And this, for me, was the really the difficulty that I had, because I couldn't express myself in my work, yet I wanted to be in the immunology and I wanted to be in the healthcare system, but I wasn't I was going against the grain with the ideas of, holistic health, and not finding this quick fix, the quick pill, the drug, the potential drug target, which was, the mentality of my peers and, the whole medical department, the medical society. So not the whole, obviously, but most of what we see today. So that was really going against the grain, standing up and starting to say what I truly believe. And it's, like I said, it's been a process. It has not come easily to me, yet I have tools and regulating tools, just as if you are fearing judgment, we're fearing the critic, we're trying to stay in with the Joneses, but at the same time this is creating a lot of the fears can just be released as easily as as I've been showing before, the fear of something else, right? So it can still be used. The emotional tools that I've shared with you can be used exactly for the same thing. So ultimately, it takes away our true potential, our true freedom, our true ability to create. And also, just think what it's signaling to your body, right? You're signaling that other people's opinions, other people's rules and expectations of you are more important than your own. Just see the internal conflict that creates internally inside of yourself. you know, because you want to be yourself and express. That's our ultimate, you know, expression through our unique lens, our unique viewpoint of this world that we've been given. You know, it creates a strong message and strong, you know, a disconnect from ourselves, from our true selves, right? So our body, again, my body gave me these signals, and eventually I was able to say enough's enough. Again, the wisdom of pain healing process is really, you know, the pain came up and told me, it gave me the wisdom again, what was the problem. And living out of alignment with self is one of the highest, one of the largest problems that I see in working with people with chronic pain. So I would like to invite you to my live tomorrow at 12 noon, and to give you some tools as well to start to develop and cultivate your authentic self. To go a little bit deeper into that, and also to ultimately, you know, bring your alignment with your true self so that you can release, heal, integrate, embrace all parts of you, love yourself more, ultimately the whole self, holistic health, holistic self, and so therefore you have your holistic health. So join me tomorrow, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.